Hi everyone. So I'm kind of doing my own recording today, so it's going to be a little herky-jerky. We're going to have to do that thing where I'm kind of looking and talking to you through the camera and pointing at things with my finger to make it through this particular video. Today we're going to continue learning about our addition, making equations, addition equations. We're going to be making numbers and adding them together. We're going to utilize a little bit of that book we read last time, the one with the bees on the front, to kind of look at pictures, think about the story that's happening in those pictures, and then creating addition equations out of that and adding numbers together. For this particular lesson, you are going to need a page out of your book. So we're going to get out our Stepping Stones student journal. And you're going to need a pencil for this as well. And then you are also going to need page number 89. Page 89 looks like this, okay? It's got a little blue fish down at the corner. The lesson up here at the top is 6.4. It's addition writing equations, and we'll come back to this after we talk a little bit about some pages from the story and what's happening in them and how we can make equations out of them. I'm gonna pause it right here so I can flip around the camera and kind of set up my board so we can draw on it while we're talking. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so for today, like I said, we're going to use this me holding it like this and pointing at things kind of way of taking the photo. Just because I'm all by myself and trying to make the video, it makes it a little bit more difficult to try to do a bunch of things all at once, but we'll try to make it work. So we're going to use just a few more and some pages from it and just talk about it. We did this a little bit while we were going through the book. We're just going to do it today as well and make a couple more equations out of it. Let's talk about a couple of these pages. So on our first page here, we had 3 bees buzz in a beehive, 2 more fly in. There will be, and then this is where we get our equation, okay? So we start thinking about this picture, and I'm gonna make up here on my board, I'm gonna go ahead and make our equation. So what we're gonna need, because we're adding 2 numbers together, is we're gonna need a plus sign, looks like this. And we're gonna need an equals sign, like that. Boy, that's gonna be hard for you guys to see. Okay. So I'll make a couple spaces for my number, and I'll make enough space for my end number. So right now our board looks like that, which is a bunch of nonsense right now, but we're gonna fill in all the stuff that we can make. And this date is not accurate, so don't look at that. We're gonna fill in all the numbers and it'll make more sense as we go. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers. So let's look at our little bee book here. And we think about the 2 numbers that we can see from this picture. So in the story, it starts off by saying 3 bees buzz by the beehive. So that's gonna be our first number. We've heard that there are bees hanging around in this beehive right here. We can actually count those bees too. 1, 2, 3. 3 bees in a beehive. That's going to be our first number in our equation if we're making it up right here. So in this space right here, I'm going to put the number 3. That's our bees in our beehive. And essentially our question is going to be, how many bees are there? Okay. So we look back at our page. We got 2 more friends coming in. It says 2 more fly in. That's this happy little character, and this, I don't know, he's talking about something, obviously. These 2 guys right here. So this is our other number. These 2 bees, 1, 2. That's our second amount that we're going to add into our equation. So right now, our equation reads like this, if we're going to read it like a sentence with words. 3 plus 2 equals 5. And of course, this right here means we're going to add those 2 numbers together. And this right here means that there's going to be the same amount of things over here that there are over here. Another way we can kind of show that as we go is put dots for each one of these numbers. So we have 3 right here. So I like to add 3 little dots right here to show that number in a different way. And then over here for 2, I put 1, 2 dots, okay? So that shows those 2 numbers in 2 very different ways. They mean the same thing. Over here is where we're gonna try to figure out what would it be if we're talking about how many bees there are altogether. Altogether is a really critical word for addition, okay? For that, we can count all the bees on the whole page. So for that, we can start over here and count our way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bees. There are 5 bees on that page, and coincidentally, that's what goes right there. Our answer is 5. Okay. And just to double check ourselves in the way that I like to, I'm going to go ahead and put, because this number right here would require 5 dots, I'm going to put 5 dots. And then just to double check this equation, because like I said, this means that we need the same amount of dots over here that we had over here. We can count all the dots over on this side and see if it matches the amount of dots on that side. Okay, so I'm going to count these first. 1 dot, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 dots over here. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots over here. So we got that one correctly. I'm going to pause the video so that I can erase all this nonsense and flip the page in the book, and we'll look at the next one and we'll figure out the equation for that one as well. So hold on one second. I'm going to pause us up, and poof, through the magic of movie making, all of the numbers have disappeared and our page in our book has completely changed because movies are magic. So now we've got a new story. We've got a new story going on in this picture. There's words here that are going to help us out, but there's also something we can just kind of look at and see what's happening and kind of think about what equation we might create. We are still dealing with addition problems, so this means that we're still trying to take 2 numbers and put them together to find out how many things there are over here on this side, okay? So our equation right here is gonna be, just looking at this, I can tell how many monkeys are hanging out together, okay? Our end result is gonna be how many monkeys. I can look at that and just think, what kind of equation could I create? What kind of thing could I imagine in my brain this story might ask us, or what might a teacher ask you on a test? So we get to look at this, we can read the story, we're gonna fill in all this nonsense as we go. Let's read this story here. It says, 7 chimps play on the tree vines. 2 more swing in. And I'm sorry this is shaky, it's just the way I have to hold the thingamajig. 7 chimps play on the vines. So we're looking for number words, words that we know are numbers. So hopefully when I was saying that, you heard one and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a number word, because that's what we're going to use. If not, let's just look at the picture. We can count these things with our touch counting, and then we can know what number we have, okay? I'll reread this, but let's go ahead and touch count them anyway. We have some chimps over here, so that's going to be our first number we're thinking about. We have some chimps over here on this side. That's going to be our other number that we're going to be thinking about. And then our question at the end of the day is going to be, how many chimps are there? And I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I love him. I just realized that he's on there. This guy is very surprised. There's a whole bunch of fun monkeys going on this page. But let's count them. Let's make our equation, because that's what we're here to do for. That's why we're here. All right, so on this page, we have to count the monkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 monkeys over here, 7 chimps. And this said 7 chimps, so we know that that's right. Over here on our board, we're going to fill in this first space because that was our first number word. We're going to write the number 7. And because we wrote that 7 and I like to use those little dots to help me, I'm going to go ahead and draw 7 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because we're going to want to see if we've got the right amount of dots over here that we do over here at the end. The other number we're going to get from this page is this page over here. How many chimps come swinging in? In the sentence, it said 2 more swing in. So we know this one right here is 1, 2 chimps. That's going to go right here as our second number. These numbers that we add together are called add-ins. That means we're 2 numbers that we add together. So we're going to add that right there. And I'm going to put my little dots. Okay. Now these dots, if everything goes right, we should have the same amount over on this side of the line. or this side of the equal sign. This is the equal sign right here. There should be the same amount over here as there are over here at the end. We're hoping, we're crossing our fingers when we add these two numbers together. All right, so to do that, easiest way, count all the chimps. The question is, how many chimps are there all together? Okay, so we just count them all, and that should give us our answer. We do have another option now because we could technically count these dots and just put the same amount of dots over here, then count them and figure out what the number is. That's another option, but since we have this cool picture, we can do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 chimps all together on this page. That means I'm gonna put the number 9 right here, and I am going to create 9 dots. Maybe you can't see them while I'm doing it. It's because I'm looking at the dots and not necessarily at the camera while I am creating them. Okay, so there are 9 dots right there. Over here, we have this many dots. It's time to count them and see if they are the same. Theoretically, we should have 9 dots over here because we have 9 dots over here. So let's just count these. We already know what these are. There's 9 here. So hopefully if this is 9, we've done the problem correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 dots over here. We have 9 dots over here. We have proven that math exists. 7 plus 2 equals 9, okay? So that's 2 problems from the book. Now I'm going to show you the problems that we're going to have in your book as soon as I find your book. I'm going to pause it right now. I'm going to get it out, and then I'll show you guys what you guys are going to be doing. All right, so I found a pencil. I found the page that you're going to be doing so we can kind of talk about it. We just did some ones where we had the plus sign right there and the equal sign. So these are addition equations. That's what you guys are going to be doing right here. I'll come over and show you this real quick. In these pictures, this is the first problem. You have an addition sign and equation right there. So that means you are adding 2 numbers together to try to find the answer. So for the first one, you're kind of looking at it and saying, what addition problem might this one be showing me, just like the book was? And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, we can think about trying to figure out how many ladybugs there are all together. And then we look at what kind of 2 numbers could we pull from this particular picture. In my brain, I'm thinking, I see ladybugs right here. I see ladybugs up here. So what I could do is make my 2 numbers, how many ladybugs are on the leaf and how many ladybugs are coming to visit them. So those will be our 2 numbers. I'm going to start with my first number being the ladybugs on the leaf. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and in this first box right here, I am going to write the number 4. Okay. And then for my own purpose, you guys don't have to do this, but I recommend trying it. I'm going to put 4 dots there so that I know that I have 4 ladybugs, and we can check it against our answer later. Okay. Our second number is going to be how many ladybugs are coming to visit. And we have 1. So that's going to be our second number. 1 ladybug. I'm going to put my little dot right there. And then our answer is going to be how many ladybugs are there all together in this picture, okay? To figure that one out, we have a couple options now. We can count all the ladybugs to put our answer right here. And we can count our dots that we've created right here. These are little pretend pictures of the ladybugs that we've created for ourselves. I'm going to count the ladybugs first. I'm going to try to stand up so it steadies this camera a little bit because I'm getting motion sickness just looking through it. So let's see, how many ladybugs do we have all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ladybugs. That's going to go right here in our answer. The number 5. And how we check ourselves is we create 5 dots right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to show this number in a different way. And then we just make sure we have 5 over here and 5 on this side of the line over here. I've got 5 right here, I know, because I just made that. For this one, I count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they're the same, then I've done the problem correctly for this particular type of problem, addition. So that's what you're going to be doing. I want you to look at this one right here and see what kind of equation could we create out of this picture. Your question for this one is going to be how many b's there are altogether. So that's the answer. But what about the two numbers that you're going to make up? So give that a shot. Try to figure out what these two numbers are that it's trying to ask you about, and those will go in these boxes. Fill out this whole page with what you think these pictures are trying to show you. Send that picture back to us so we can check it out and make sure we're doing okay. And that is the addition lesson for the day. After today, you are going to be very, very proficient at making equations for addition problems. Thank you so very much for your hard work, and I will see you next time.